Hello, Mike and Moose here, and today I'm going to show you exactly what to look for when you're buying a used model kit so you don't waste your money and you don't get taken. Next on Modeling with Mike. And hello again, and welcome back to the bench. And let's start right off by asking, why do we buy secondhand in the first place? Number of good reasons. Number one, it's budget friendly. Secondhand kits usually cost at least half the price of those off the retail racks, sometimes even more. You can find hard to find or vintage kits, stuff that is not made anymore, you can find in the secondhand market. There's environmental reasons. Of course, there's the reuse of the kit. And if you reuse the kit, you're not putting it into the landfill. You know, you're putting it used to it instead of putting more plastic into a landfill that doesn't need any more plastic. Of course, there are some risks to it. You know, when you're dealing in the secondhand market, you're going to run into the, let's say, shady characters, and you got to watch out for them. So that's what this is all about. So let's talk about where to find used kits. Number one, hobby shops. Of course, hobby shops, especially model shops, those specializing in scale models. Usually they have a second-hand section. Go to that section, you'll find kits at greatly reduced prices. Also, look for clearance sales. Swap meets and model shows. A lot of people at model shows are trying to get rid of their stash. You know, you have individual sellers, you have stores, you have, online stores, and uh, you have the manufacturers there selling their products and their kits, and a lot of those have special deals just for the show. You know, we all know the big ones. You know, over in the UK, you have Telford, Scale Model World. Here in the US, every year, the big one is IPMS Nationals, which is held in a different city every year. But if you want to know if there's anything around your area, turn on your phone, go to your search bar, type in model shows near me or model contests near me. Boom. If there's any, you'll find out there. Online marketplaces are a very good place to find used kits. These are where a lot of your modelers thinning down their stash. That's where they hang out. Your eBay, your Amazon, your Craigslist, Farcebook, it's a cesspool, but you can sell stuff on there. Etsy, all those places. And then you have your online retailers as well that may have secondhand kits or specials, clearances. This last one's sort of hit or miss. It's local classified ads or estate sales. You'll find estate sales in your local classifieds. Uh, this depends on where you're at. You know, if you're around my area, which is around Warsaw, Indiana. I'll tell you where I live, Warsaw, Indiana. But this is pretty much a dry zone for hobby stores, model stores, and pretty dry zone as far as I know for modelers. I'm one of the few around here that I know of. So you look in the ads here, you're gonna find next to nothing for kits. But I know some places in the Northeast United States, places over in the UK are hotbeds. You can find kits in the classified ads there probably. I'm not, don't know for sure in the UK, but I'm pretty confident that some places in the uh, Northeast United States are pretty good on that. Look in your classified ads for estate sales. Now we're getting into the meat of the video here. This is what you want to inspect before you buy a secondhand kit. First thing, before you even look inside, you got to look at the box condition. Look for water damage. Look for mold. Look for signs of insects and rodents. If it was kept in a basement, if that's where the guy's stash is in the basement, probably gonna have some water damage to it because a lot of basements leak. If it's in an attic, you're gonna find insects and rodents up there. Because a lot of rodents like to, especially during the winter, like to burrow in and get inside. And the best place for them to get inside is up in the attic. And then the mold, well, that just goes without saying. You don't want to invite mold into your house. Pure and simple. It does damage to your respiratory system, and you're going to pay hell trying to get rid of it. Number two, you want to inspect the sprues and the parts. Okay, if you are the parts still on the sprues? Are there any broken or missing parts? And remember to check tiny parts, the tiny parts carefully. They could have little nicks and cuts in there that you can't see unless you really look at them. And the first sign of pressure they get, they're going to snap. And if parts are not on the sprues, they may be missing. Broken and missing pieces, well, that's just broken. That may be a deal breaker, but missing pieces should be. Because you're just adding to the cost of the kit by going to the aftermarket route to replace those missing pieces. The broken pieces, depending on your skill level, can be repaired. Now check your instructions. Are they torn? Are they missing? These are not deal breakers because of our nice little friend scale mates. A lot of these, most of these kits that you get secondhand, if they're missing the instructions, you can go on ScaleMates and find the instructions. I've done this before. I had a kit that was missing the instructions, went on ScaleMates, downloaded the instructions, and I downloaded them to my tablet. And I just turned on my tablet, stuck it on the tablet stand that I have, went off of theirs. Bingo bango. That's not a deal breaker. Is it in a language you can read? You know, some of these Japanese and Chinese companies have their instructions in their own language, not in English. So if they're in another language and you don't understand them, do they have illustrations that you can follow and put your model together that way? I've had to do that before myself. None of those are a deal breaker, but They can help you get a better deal on that kit. Lower that price. Look at the decals. Are they yellow? Are they brittle? Was the kit stored in a dry place? Because you know that moisture activates decals from the backing paper. Okay? If they're yellowed, that's not a deal breaker. I stick them on my window if they're yellowed for about 2 or 3 days. Let the sun work on them. Bleach them out. If they're brittle, that's a deal breaker because they're going to fall apart when you try to apply them. And if they were stored in a wet place, that's a deal breaker because they're probably already separated from the backing paper. And in both of those cases, you have to go to the aftermarket decal route, which is adding more expense to the kit. Look at the clear parts. Are the clear parts scratched or fogged? And or are they cracked? If they're cracked, it's a deal breaker. Again, you got to go to the aftermarket route. Scratched or fogged, you can repair that. And I probably make a can probably make a video in the future showing you how to do that. There is a difference between scratched and cracked. Scratch, there is, it's just what it says. There's a little scratch down there. It doesn't go all the way through the part. A crack does. That part is broken. Bye bye, sayonara. Check for previous attempts at assembly. Most of this stuff are not deal breakers. Like if it has glue marks or painted parts, glue marks can be sanded off. Painted parts can be dissolved. The paint can be dissolved off. Those aren't deal breakers, but they can be used to negotiate the price down. Broken or snapped pieces. That's an either or. It depends how badly broken they are. Can they be fixed? If they can, it's not a deal breaker. Can negotiate the price down. If they can't be fixed, again, you're going to have to go through the aftermarket and add, again, additional costs. So it's a deal breaker. Let's talk about questions you need to ask the seller if you're dealing face to face with somebody. First thing you want to ask them is, can I look inside the kit? If they say no, no, walk on because they're covering something up probably. There's something they don't want you to see in there. But once you get permission to look inside, ask them, has anything been started? Again, something's been started, that's a place for negotiation. You can negotiate that price down a bit. Are there any parts missing? This is a deal breaker if there are, because again, you're going to have to not only pay for the kit, but pay more for aftermarket to replace the parts. Are the decals usable? If yes, good deal. Deal still on. If no, walk away. Again, aftermarket additional cost. Here's a big one for a lot of people. Hasn't been in a smoke-free or pet-free home because a lot of people are sensitive to even the smell of smoke, and some people are allergic to pet. And if there's a pet there, trust me, as a dog owner, you're gonna have pet dander in that kit. Both of those could be deal breakers. Let's talk about price and negotiation. Number one, you always want to enter the store or the swap meet or the model show. Or when you're going online, you want to enter the website with the knowledge of how much that particular kit costs new at the present time. And then you can compare what that asking price is to what it would be new and see if it's reasonable or not. When you get into negotiations, you want to factor in all these things I've covered. Because every one of these things is just a mark against it. What I do is I ask them how old that kid is, how long they've had it, and start from there what would be a reasonable price below retail and start subtracting reasonably from that for everything that's wrong with it. And you factor in all the potential missing parts and everything that's wrong with it. And if your figure that you come up with is ballpark, in the ballpark of the asking price, deal. If there's any of the deal breakers I told you about, no deal. Which brings us to the next point. Don't be afraid to walk away. If you have any doubts, don't. Remember, if they have more than one kit, bundle them together. You might spend, a few bucks more, but per kit, you're going to be spending less. You're going to get a better deal. See if you can bundle your kits, get 2 or 3 for less cost per kit. Let's recap. Remember what you need to look for. Okay? Look for the box condition. Look at the condition of the sprues and parts, the instructions, the decals. Look at the condition of the clear parts. Has there been any previous assembly attempts? Remember to ask the seller, has the kit been started? Any parts missing? Are the decals usable? What environment did this kit come from? And remember your negotiation tips that I told you. Remember this one thing. I'm going to emphasize it right now. If in doubt, don't. If you have any doubts about this kit, don't buy it. Walk away. There's some more tips, especially if you're online. I have a video on how to navigate eBay that I will leave a link for in the description, and that'll add extra tips for you in dealing with online. This is not only applies to eBay but online as a whole. What secondhand model kits have you found? Share what treasures you found in the comments. Always love to hear from you. The next video is going to be 5 quality airbrushes for less than $100 for all you that are looking to start airbrushing. I'll have 5 you can buy for under $100 that'll more than do the trick for you. I want to, before I say goodbye, I want to tell you uh, if you have been commenting anytime from Friday the 11th till Monday the 14th, anytime during that weekend, this past weekend, that you've commented and you had to wait for a response, my apologies. My internet went out and the company cannot come to fix it till the 14th, which is Monday. So that's the reason why you had to wait for my response. Okay, that's all I have for this video. So you know what we always say around here. Never stop pushing your modeling boundaries. Until next time, bye.